What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Jake, your favorite investor. And in this video, we're going to go over my #1 most effective strategy of finding good contractors for my flips. When I talk about the number of houses I flip every month, a question that comes up over and over and over again is, Jake, how do you find good contractors? Now, there's a lot of horror stories about finding bad contractors or contractors that charge too much or contractors that take us out of the game because all of their bids come back way too high. That's a normal part of the process, but in finding a good investor-friendly contractor, I figured out a way that's not necessarily difficult and has been damn effective for my business and in turn for my bottom line. We're trying to make that money, you guys.
Woo! 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 Ow! Love that money.
When people ask me this question, I love breaking this down because other people start applying it and they can start getting results right away and expanding their power team, expanding the most important people of their business, making more money and having better contractors to do the renovations on their homes. Now, the first thing that I need to say is that not every referral is created equally. Sometimes I get referrals from an aunt or an uncle. They say, hey, I really know this contractor. I went to high school with the guy. He's great. He has his own crew. He's got 3 workers and you're probably going to want to work with him. I told him all about you, nephew. And that's great. And I'll talk to the contractor and it may be a good contractor. Another way is we can go on Craigslist or Facebook groups and find these contractors that are posting about their business. And they even say that keyword that they are investor friendly. And I love that word investor friendly. That means they know we operate on a schedule and on a budget and that numbers are the most important thing for us. But the one thing that trumps all of the other contractor reference and referral sources is real estate agents. Real estate agents in any given market make their money based on their reputation. That's the reason why sometimes you see them have ads with that portrait where they're smiling and they've got the nice background, they've got the suit. And that's great and all, but what they're trying to do is establish an amount of trust and make sure that their name is correlated with a community-centered and very friendly reputation. And so if their reputation is a direct correlation to their bank account, I like to lean into the real estate agent's reputation in order to find contractors. So here's what I do. Very first and foremost, I look at all the sold properties within the last 6 months of whatever area I'm trying to flip houses in. If I can get it to just a zip code or just a neighborhood and I can find a bunch of flips that recently occurred, and typically you can tell if it's a flip if you look at the listing and the house is empty. People don't live like that. If you can tell that a house is vacant or too clean to be an occupied home, typically you can tell it's a flip. You can also see in the description if it says new carpet, new flooring, brand new kitchen, full renovation, that's an indication of a flip as well. And so if they are marketing a property on all these fancy brand new finishes, there's probably a contractor that did that work. And if you can look at the history of a listing and see specifically that someone bought the house 6 months ago and sold it 2 months ago, so they only owned it for 4 months and everything's brand new, well, my friends, chances are that was a flip. And if that was a flip, the person running the flip, the investor, was somebody that was making money on it and really heavily relied on the contractor to do the work. Now, if we can find a bunch of flips on Redfin, on Zillow, typically it will also say who listed the property, who was the agent that was representing the house flipper that made money on this flip. What I like to do is go in, find those flips in the neighborhood or in the area or city or zip code that the house that I want to flip is in. Or let's say I'm just trying to put a specific focus on a certain neighborhood or certain zip code. I'm gonna find those flips and I'm gonna find those agents that listed those flips. I'm gonna look them up on Google, and if I can find their phone number, I'm gonna give them a call and or send them a text introducing myself. If I can get them on the phone, I'm going to run one of my scripts on them, telling them how I'm a real estate investor. I use cash to buy properties. I'm trying to buy multiple properties. If I buy a property with them, I'm more than happy to list the property with them. I want to tell them everything that they want to hear, because at the end of that conversation, I want them to see value in creating a business relationship with me. And value to a real estate agent means they can get more commissions from me. We want to show and convey that we have value. Now, if I can get them on the phone and I can get through that script with them, at the end of that script, I have one more question. Say, hey, Jenny the realtor, I noticed that you listed that flip at 123 Main Street. I was looking at it online and the pictures looked great. How did that go? And you just say, oh yeah, it was a great flip. A local real estate investor flipped it. Beautiful, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Do you happen to know what contractor did that work? I love that work. Now this right here is what separates the good contractors from the bad contractors. Remember, the real estate agents make their money based on their reputation. And in 2023, if someone does a good job with something, the people that they did a good job for, their customers, might tell somebody, they might tell a couple of people. But if someone does a bad job in 2023, they're gonna put it all over Yelp, all over Facebook. People will have negative reviews everywhere. Typically, if someone does a bad job, 30 people will know about it. And someone does a good job, maybe 2 people will know about it. And if someone just does an okay job and things went decently, nobody knows about it, right? People always hear about it if things are going poorly. Real estate agents know this. Their business is based on referrals and their reputation. So if I ask about the contractor that did the flip that they listed, the agent is going to know intimately how the construction was, if there were any requests for repairs on the inspection when they're selling the house. They're going to know what happened, and they're going to have a good enough relationship with the house flipper to know if the house flipper was frustrated or if they were really happy with their contractor. And so what I like to do is listen very closely to what they say about the contractor that did that flip. The name of the game and the goal of this conversation, obviously it's to have a new realtor that's investor friendly on our team, but ultimately the primary purpose of all this conversation and the fluff and getting this realtor on our power team is to try to get access to this contractor if they did a good job. If I ask the agent how the contractor was and they understand that I am a house flipper, I'm a client of value, that if things go well, they're gonna fatten their bank account. If there was any issue with the contractor, they're probably not going to put their name behind it on the referral. So I'm gonna listen very, very closely to what they say. If the contractor sucked, they're gonna tell me that they won't put their name behind it. They wouldn't recommend this contractor. They're gonna tell me, I don't feel comfortable. They're gonna say something about being hesitant to put their name behind it. However, on the flip side, if they say this contractor did an excellent job and they're willing, enthusiastically willing to give me this contractor's contact information, well, in that scenario, my friends, I am going to call that contractor and lean into them as much as possible. After all, we know that they did a flip for a local investor. We know that a real estate agent is willing to put their name behind it. That tells us they're good with schedule, they're good with budget, and they're good with reputation, to the point where the real estate agent that's giving us this information is willing to put their reputation and in turn their bank account behind it. We call this playing into their greed, and greed is not a bad thing in this business. It's human nature. People want to do well, especially with real estate agents. They're going to want to protect their reputation by either giving a good contractor to us and putting their name behind it because they're pretty certain that the contractor is going to do a good job, or being hesitant to put their name behind this contractor if the contractor did a bad job. Not all referrals and references are created equal. I give extra weight to referrals from real estate agents of contractors, especially if that real estate agent has experience representing house flippers. They're going to put their name behind the contractor. That's a contractor that I'm going to put specific weight behind and that I'm going to try to work with as best as possible. I hope this helps. If you want more tips and tricks like that, click the links in the description. Talk to you soon. Happy investing.